It was around 1990 when we had gotten wind that the New Zealanders were thinking about putting on a world tournament. And there are a few women in the club that just thought that there was no way that the European teams could pay to get themselves to New Zealand. And it made much greater sense if we held a World Cup in the UK.
It was challenging, but I don't think we realised quite at the time how challenging it was. We had to make it happen and we had to work hard, and you knew that your teammates at the time had that passion that you had.
I'm thankful for people who started the '91 World Cup. It's a pathway that then grew into what it is now, you know, 8 World Cups down the track.
I was the commercial director for the Women's Rugby World Cup. We were knocking on all sorts of doors to try to get the tournament funded, to get England funded, but we weren't coming up trumps with anything. It was just back then, companies thought that women's rugby was participation and spectator. We ended up in Wales because Wales were the most receptive in terms of their support, in terms of the pitches they could offer us, in terms of some of the funding they could offer us. So we had looked around the UK and ended up in Wales. And also, Wales is such a small, tight community and a hub of rugby that we knew if we put it in these small clubs that we would make gate receipts.
It's the '91 World Cup. I was playing, but before I could play, I had to go with a minibus to Heathrow, pick up the Russians in a minibus and drive them all the way down to Cardiff before I could go and report for duty. So that's the thing that I remember, is that one, you just got stuck in to make sure it happened, and that's the deal, wasn't it?
We had turned up to the World Cup and we had been picked from the Rugby Festival in 1990 that was held in Christchurch. And they had sent 60 leaders out and they basically said, can you front up with, I think it was something like $7,000 or $8,000. And if you can, then you could be eligible to represent New Zealand.
What we did in the end is we charged every team a nominal sum to play, and we ran the tournament on bare string. We ran it off then, the gate receipts. We had a huge volunteer infrastructure. Everybody did everything for free. Now remember, back then, we were talking 1990, everything we did was by phone and fax. So everything was slow and everything was painful compared by today's standards. But we just decided that there was no way back. We didn't have the funding, we didn't have the IRB support, but there was no way that we were going to be deterred from delivering what we thought was then right for the women's game. It was this international stage that we needed and deserved.
Well, it's always been professional, but with a little p. You know, we all did as well as we could, but when the IRB got involved, and of course World Rugby now, everything's done professionally. And the standard of the game has moved on due to the development around the world, and it's such a fantastic spectacle now. You know, it's really a game that people want to see, so yeah, it's fabulous.
1994, the Scottish picked it up and ran it beautifully. That was the first tournament that was recognized by the IRB. And so we had a little bit more support and a little bit more infrastructure support. So we actually played Scotland, to get to the World Cup final and won. So it was an amazing experience as well.
If we hadn't said, right, this is our vision, we want to run a World Cup, this is what we do, right to everybody, however you can get there, get there. 94, the Scottish girls did the same. And from there, with the aspiration and the vision that the girls had and the women had, that went, we will make this happen, and if we need to find the money, find a way of doing it, that's what we'll do. And then you prove, it's worth investing in us and investing in the game. And that's what we did, and that's why we're where we are now, because loads of people around the world really took some time around investing in that. So I think that's really important.